Michael,
Hey, Ricky. How
how are
you
you
doing?
doing, sir?
I'm I'm okay. I had some health concerns, kind of a health scare.
Really?
I went to my doctor last week and I was concerned. And so I asked him, I
Okay.
said, Doc, do you think, I'll live long and a healthy life? Because I had some concerns and
Okay.
he gave me some mumbo jumbo and he is an MD, so
Okay.
he says, he tells me, it shocks me. He says, I doubt it. And I said, what? He said, yeah, I doubt it. Somehow Mercury is in Uranus right now. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I said, Doc, I'm not into any of this astrology mumbo jumbo. And he said, well, I'm not either, but my thermometer just broke.
Uh,
That was, that was clean up, man. It's, in the
it's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
and my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. Mercury.
Not cool.
It's not cool. It's not good for you either. Well,
Oh my gosh.
man, been a wild week, hasn't it?
It has. I know.
It's
We're our show's going to be late because we're recording late because
yes,
we both about got blown away. Well, I had internet problems one night.
yes,
And then
yeah,
the next night, we both about got blown away by tornadoes.
yeah.
And
No,
how was everything at the property?
everything was fine. I was
Okay,
really
good.
grateful. We went out there; everything looked good. Um,
So no
I
major hail damage then.
no,
Good.
no. So we're fortunate there, and you guys did okay. I'm assuming.
Yeah, we had a lot of rain, but we really didn't get the
Yeah,
hail,
yeah.
and the tornadic weather really missed us completely.
Good
So
deal.
that was mostly down toward you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, it was really wild. I don't think
Mm.
we have that too much. You guys usually have the
I know.
monopoly on that. So,
I
uh,
know.
yeah. Well, tonight, folks, we are going to talk about tech, and there's a lot of tech going on from Apple to Microsoft.
Hmm.
Usually this past week, E3, that is
Oh,
usually,
yeah.
E3 is supposed to be the big thing, but E3 is no longer in existence anymore. So you have a lot
So,
of your, hmm?
so it wasn't just canceled for this year.
No,
It's
it's,
canceled. Like they're
yeah,
not doing it anymore.
they've done away with it, and so
Wow.
you have Microsoft, Ubisoft, just some of these EA and a lot of
Hmm.
these different companies that are doing their own what they like to call, and I think the term is now summer of showcase anyway, and so
Okay.
they're all
Well, I
going
was
to
going to
be
say Blizzard has always done a BlizzCon every year
yes,
where they release
yes,
all their new stuff.
yeah, and right now they're it's interesting, and it wasn't something I was going to bring up, but since you said Blizzard, it's interesting how Microsoft in every country is having to go through a ruling whether or not they're going to accept the monopoly or not. A Blizzard, and I don't understand how that works because it's like, so do everyone has to agree for me to be able to buy this company? I mean, I don't understand it. And if
I
anybody
guess
out
if
there
they
who
have.
has, yeah, if anybody has any intellectual property understanding of any of this, comment below because, and I guess I could do my research, but it's every time I turn around and I think it's all good, then you have France. France says yes, thumbs up, and then you know I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not sure I completely understand it,
no,
but I guess if they have some major entity there, maybe that's why. But
yeah.
I
And I don't
mean,
understand the monopoly process because let's say, yes, you buy Activision, which, yes, it owns a lot of big games. Of course, you buy Bethesda. That's a big deal, too.
yeah.
But you've
But
got
Sony and Nintendo are big
they're doing,
players in the video game market,
yeah, exactly. And I
and
think
they're
that's,
not owned. But
no, and I think Sony is the one who's really coming against this as
mm,
far as the market goes. But, they bought Originally, they bought Bungie, so they own
Yeah.
Bungie now. So, but their only property, I think, right now is Destiny. So,
Hmm.
but anyway, well, it'd be interesting to see what's going on. But tonight we're going to talk about Summer Showcase, Microsoft Xbox Showcase. We have a couple of games that are, normally we don't talk a whole about games, but there's some really phenomenal stuff coming out over the horizon.
And a new product from Apple coming out.
Yes, which is interesting. And we're going to be talking
Yes.
about that. Very interesting.
That is a word for it.
We've got a lot of, it's kind of, when we talked about nerdy news, pretty much a lot of we're talking about is pretty much nerdy news.
It's pretty much is nerdy news. You're right.
Yeah. But do we have anything that it's kind of not pertaining to tonight as far as?
So I do have some box office news this weekend.
Okay, cool.
Technically last weekend. Last weekend, Transformers Rise of the Beast topped the box office. Not super surprising. It had an okay showing of $60 million domestically, but that just barely beat out last week's winner, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which came in at $65 million domestically for its second weekend.
Yeah.
So that movie is killing it. It almost came in number one again. So I'm almost surprised it didn't. But the new Transformers movie did do much better than the last two outings for that franchise. And they did hit a worldwide total of 170 million last weekend. So that's actually pretty good.
That is pretty good. And, it's funny to me because, normally Marvel animation doesn't do very well on the box office. Or really, they're normally not at the box office,
well,
honestly. And
the Sony Spider-Verse animation is doing really, really good.
Yeah. So, good. Yeah. So we may see some more down the road. So,
yeah. Well, as far as critics go on the Transformers movie, the Rotten Tomatoes scores is pretty split.
yeah.
Critics only gave it a 52%.
Oh, okay.
But it got an audience score of 91. So
well, that's a split.
So the audience enjoyed it. But
this stuff can't be. It's not critically acclaimed. Filmmaking people. I mean, it's
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
I'm super interested to see what happens this weekend.
Yeah.
With The Flash coming out,
exactly.
Disney's releasing a new animated movie same weekend.
Is that the Elemental?
Yeah, Elemental.
Okay, yeah.
There's another movie that looked like the kind of movie that could get a decent box office draw. I can't remember what it is right now. That's releasing this weekend. And Spider-Verse is still going to be in the theaters.
Still there, yeah.
And the Transformers. Now, my expectation is Transformers is going to drop off a lot. But Across the Spider-Verse, I mean, it could still come in at another 25 million or 30 million pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All these other films. But I don't know what this weekend's going to bring with, Flash is questionable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that on the Flash.
Maybe we can do our review of the Flash next week.
I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. That would be good. It's fresh in our minds. So,
do you have any stupid news for us today?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do some stupid news. We're going to do something kind of different tonight, folks, but we're going to have some fun.
It's the weird and stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Now, sometimes here at Stupid News, we like to kind of mix it up a little bit. And we have our little segment called Stupid Headlines, where I pick the headlines out and my good friend Ricky Pope reads the headlines. Okay. So this is fun for the whole family.
I have to resize my screen so I can read
it. That's probably be a good idea. Be a good idea. So the first one, let's take a look at it.
Worker suffers leg pain after crane drops 800-pound ball on his head. Wait, head?
Yes.
Leg pain?
Yes.
I'm confused.
I am too. I'm confused. The whole location of the body and the
I'm not.
ball. Yeah.
I mean,
But I think 800-pound ball on his head. I have a feeling there's more than just pain that just happened.
well, I'm thinking everything would hurt.
Yeah, I would think so
Or
too.
nothing would hurt ever again.
I think, yeah, interesting. And that's like, yeah. Anyway, 800-pound ball. Anyway, but so on the next headline,
Children invited to eat pizza with poo. Ew.
That's right. Sometimes the news, headlines, you just makes you kind of scratch your head, but sometimes you'll come up with headlines like this.
Mayor Paris to homeless. Go home. Go home. Brilliant. That's brilliant.
It is. That's brilliant. That's right.
That's politics at its finest right there.
It really is. And sometimes you have situations where we'll read the other headlines here.
Tight end returns after colon surgery. Oh.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Sometimes these headlines are just kind of, it's one of those, really somebody let this one go.
Either let it go, they missed it. Yeah, because I think sometimes how intentional are these sometimes? And then sometimes do they just not, we got to get in a hurry and put it on the press. So that I don't know. But
oh my gosh.
Yes. So here's the next headline for you, Ricky Poe.
Cop makes arrest in bathroom after smelling crack. Oh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's right. And also during the holidays, I saw this little article. So let's read this headline.
How to prepare pets for Thanksgiving. Oh, that is so wrong.
That's right. And what's popular nowadays, of course, it has been for a long time, is wedding announcements. And sometimes you'll have the bride and the groom with their maiden and their, both maiden names, the maiden name and the husband's name. And however you do it anymore, kids, I don't care. But anyway, here's a couple of them right here.
Smelly bacon.
That's right.
The smelly bacon marriage.
That's right. And here's our next one from the whole family.
Wang Holder. So wrong. Anna Wang and Brad Holder.
That's right. That's right.
May they put those names the other way around?
No, Holder Wang.
I don't know. That would probably be just as bad.
I don't know. It'd be just as bad. I would think so. And sometimes in headlines, you realize that certain organizations or certain functions, you need to really think out. Is this the appropriate name for our charity or for our event?
Great Northern Jerk-Off celebrates 20th anniversary with 38 entries. Why? Why? Why?
Oh, and that's stupid news.
Oh my goodness. This has been the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
I like it when I let you go ahead.
I was going to say, before we go on, I don't have an image for this, but since you made me read all those.
Yes.
So I follow the guys from the old Top Gear show.
Oh, yeah.
So James May, he got fired from a car magazine. I don't know if you've heard this story. He got fired from a car magazine. And he had to do this like annual one where it's like every page, he had to do the whole layout and all this stuff. And so he got so frustrated. The first letter of each major article is a big letter,
Yeah.
So like the first letter of the first word is big, and that's just kind of a weird typographical thing that some people do. Um, so he took the time to make it say, "So you think it's really good? Yeah, you should try making the bloody thing up. It's a real pain in the rear." If you put all the
Those
big
little
letters
words
together.
together. Yeah. That's quite clever if you ask me, but
He got fired for that.
I know.
Uh,
It's something about those guys from
oh
Top
my
Gear,
god.
the original Top Gear that they all have their stories, don't they?
Yes, yes, they do.
But they still hang
Oh
together,
my
so
gosh.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I love that show. Anyway,
Well,
that's not what we're talking about.
no, not tonight, folks. Not anyway. It'd be kind of a fun segment to do, but anyhow, how we would make it, audibly and visible, I'd have no idea. But anyway, a lot of big tech news.
Yep.
I'm going to kind of
Where do
let
we
you
want
go
to
this
start?
direction. Well, I wanted to talk about the new, and before I get you started, there's a couple of things I wanted to look at real quick, but it's the new Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's start with the Apple Vision Pro.
If you have not seen it yet, it runs for about $34.99, and if you want the snorkel attachment, it's $8.99.
The
So
snorkel
that's
attachment.
right. So
Nice. Oh
okay,
my
now
gosh.
hey, there you go.
So it is kind of a cool piece of kit, but it's super weird. It is kind of a metaverse kind of thing. Augmented reality. It is
Yeah,
that is actually a picture of it that you just showed. It's a headset computer, but it is I've actually watched the keynote and watched them talk quite a bit about it. um at first I thought, well, it's a headset and
yeah,
it's got this cable hanging off the end.
hmm,
Surely it just plugs into your Mac, and
yeah,
that's how it works. Because there are some VR headsets that work like that. You
yeah,
plug them into your
exactly.
computer.
Yeah,
That's not this.
yeah,
This thing is a computer, and that's why it costs $3,500.
yeah,
Um, it literally has the M2 chip, which is basically it's the current computer chip in in a lot of the like the MacBook Airs, the current
yeah,
MacBook Air.
yeah.
Now they have two higher end chips,
Hmm.
but that's their base model chip right now for their main computer lines. So this thing isn't just a headset; it is a standalone computer. And I thought I had a picture of the headset and everything, but I guess I don't. But when you're wearing it, basically you create in your environment, you
Yeah,
can see the screens and you can change things around. You can actually make it completely obliterate everything and just see what it's seeing. You can do wraparound panoramas with it so that you're more immersed. There's floating icons that you can control, and it actually is using eye control. So you can
it's following.
select
Yeah,
things using your eyes. You can you flick your finger to scroll, and you just tap to tap something. It's so it was very interesting to me, but it's so weird at the
it's
same
odd.
time.
Yeah,
Um, and it also has voice dictation,
yeah.
which we can only hope is better than the iPhone,
Oh, I hope
because if it's
so.
not, it's going to be horrific. Uh,
No telling
but
what you'll see. Yeah,
but it also is a 3D camera, so you can take video with it. One of the things that I think is kind of fascinating. Now, you look at this right here, you see
hmm,
her eyes.
yeah,
Okay. So it looks like it's clear glass and you can see her face through
hmm,
the glass while while she's looking at this. That's not actually true. This is actually what is under that glass. That's
Hmm.
actually a screen. It's a separate screen that images your eyes and mimics what your face is doing.
That's wow.
So when you're talking to somebody next to you wearing this mask, it, to them, it looks like they see you. But in reality, it's a screen showing them a representation of you.
That's kind of creepy, but that would have been cool to have like in class where if you're falling asleep, you're
You
actually
can
looking
set
like
it
you're
so
paying
that it looks
attention.
like you're
Yeah.
awake. Yeah,
Interesting.
it is one of those products that I'm like, this feels kind of niche,
Yeah,
but
you
and the price is so ridiculous
absorb
when you
it.
think of something like, Oculus or some of
Well,
the other
yeah.
VR
Well, you
headsets.
think of Oculus, and then you think of the I think that's Oculus there, and then you have the Hive, which is the
Mm,
Vive, which is with Steam and even PlayStation. Of course, all of these required other devices,
yeah, you have to
and
hook
like
to something
yeah,
else.
hooked up. So and they haven't so far these VR devices. Um, it's cool, but it has not really you know picked up any steam, and
Right.
so most people are like, it's the technology isn't that great. But if you see something like Provision, which again, it's a entire computer, the only thing with that in far as gaming goes, I'm thinking, man, there's so much you can do in gaming. The problem
Hmm.
is for a gamer like me,
Hmm.
proprietary, which means
Yeah.
I can only play, you can only play, Apple app games. And so, but there's so much more that you can do with it. And I think if Apple is smart, they could tap into that gaming market if they do it the
Hmm.
right way.
I
Because
think
again,
they
yeah,
could. I don't know if they will,
no,
but I
I
think
don't
they
know.
could. Now there is a link to your laptop.
Yeah.
So if you've got a MacBook Pro, you
Hmm.
can actually link to it and use the Provision as your screen.
Yeah.
So that may help solve some of that cross platform thing,
Yeah.
as long as it's playable on a Mac.
Yeah,
There's still that,
exactly.
there's still
And
that
that's a
issue.
big thing. Yeah.
But there, if it's a Steam game, it's pretty much cross-platform. And
Yeah.
a lot of the major MMOs like World of Warcraft. We mentioned Blizzard earlier.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, you can play that on a Mac.
Oh, by the
Um,
way, there was Whoopi Goldberg's really mad that Diablo 4 cannot be played on the Mac. I don't know if you
oh,
read an
really?
article. I
I
read an
did
article
not.
and she was very irate about it. So anyway, who would have guessed? But
Nice.
anyway, but back to the Apple Pro.
Now, the thing I did think was cool, if you could connect your Mac to it, that means you
Yeah.
can run full Mac apps, kind of,
Yeah.
using it as a screen. So you could do video editing, theoretically, with a massive screen in front of you, which I
Hmm.
think could be really cool. Um,
You think it would be I don't know how tactile would it be for someone who does video editing as far as maneuvering and cutting and all that, since this is like a more of a eye following sensor type of. I mean,
I don't know. They claim that the eye tracking is amazing and
okay,
super precise. The other thing is the screens. I mean, obviously, what we really have is you have two screens. You
yeah,
one eye sees each
yeah,
screen, and that's how you get the stereo vision where you can see depth and things like that.
yeah,
Um, a total of they've come up with something they call micropixels.
hmm,
So for every pixel that you would usually see on like an iPhone, there's 64 of these micropixels,
okay,
a total of 230 megapixel screen wise, more than a 4K TV for each eye.
hmm,
So
wow,
that's a lot of
insane,
uh, you know that's gotta it should be super crisp, you know,
yeah,
being that way. Now, one of the other trade offs I think is, I mentioned that cable that's hanging down from her head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what that is, that doesn't connect to your laptop. What it does is it connects to a battery pack,
Mm-hmm.
and the battery pack will last for 2 hours. That's it. So, which is pretty poor performance, since my Mac laptop will probably go 3 or 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
So that's a little bit low for my tastes.
Yeah.
But you can plug it in to get, like all day use out of it. So
Gotcha.
it's a fascinating piece of kit. It is super price prohibitive, I think, for a lot of people. And probably the biggest drawback right now is they announced it in June. It's not going to be available till sometime in 2024. They're hinting first quarter,
Hmm.
but I don't know if that's going to happen.
It'd be
Uh,
fascinating to see if you're going to see that wraparound of people standing in front of the Apple
I
Store for that
I
price.
can't imagine. I mean, this isn't this isn't like the next iPhone,
Oh, I know.
where
I
I don't
know.
where you basically you go to the phone store and
Yeah. This
you
is
pay monthly for it for the next 5 years.
you're paying
Uh,
for a computer here. You're
you're
paying
paying for a
for yeah.
computer all up front. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine people are going to be standing in line for it. Um, that price is going to have to come way down for it to become something that is, used daily by a lot
Yeah,
of people.
exactly. Exactly.
But I wonder what it is going to push those other virtual headset makers to do. Are they going to step up their game and try to produce something that's going to compete at half the price?
My thoughts is that I don't know if they're going to go that direction. Or see, the thing is the whole VR. Of course, I know this is not VR, but I don't know. A lot of times we've seen these things and they've kind of become kind of a, like you said, it was a niche, but it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a fad. Now
Yeah.
I could see companies like PlayStation and Sony and some of these to step it up, and I could
Mm-hmm.
see them really getting into the high fidelity of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, and of course, if you can do gaming, you can do movies, and
Yeah.
so I can see them doing something maybe. Uh, I don't know if it would be a standalone device. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think if they did anything, it would be something that you would plug into your computer, or you can go maybe, I don't know, Bluetooth or
Mm.
something, because unless you're willing to make a computer like
Yeah.
Apple, and it's
That
it's a
is
vision,
small enough to wear on your
yeah,
face.
I don't see that as being a very profitable.
Yeah.
And I think most of them will go, okay, we're going to step up the game in the VR industry, virtual reality, but we're not going to go to that extent. But we're going to get some quality stuff, and we're going to make it where, like, some people like gamers. You want to be in the
Mm-hmm.
X-wing fighter, you're in the X-wing fighter. You're there in the action.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Becoming a lot more graphical intense, a lot more smoother. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Response time of motion, and you'll have some, and Sony, I can see them also adapting that for movies as well, but
Yeah.
not to the extent that I think Apple is at.
Yeah. And I think, see, I wonder if this will go the way of the Apple Newton. Is it too early?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the Apple Newton was if for those who aren't familiar, I mean, it was basically a tablet PC way early, and it was small. It was the Palm. It was Palm Pilot before there was a Palm Pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody
Yeah.
had considered this idea
Nobody.
before. So I wonder, is it going to be like that where it's going to be this niche product that a few people really love and
Yeah.
swear by, but it's just going to fizzle out? And
Well, I
then
mean,
one day, 5 years, 7 years from now,
yeah.
something new will come out that is based around this technology, and it will blow everybody away. I
I
mean,
think yeah. No, I agree. And I think a lot of it has to do with proprietary or third party products.
yeah.
You know, if Apple is just wanting to keep the Apple ecosystem, which we know they will,
Oh, absolutely.
it takes away from the mainstream. Those who are
Hmm.
not Apple people who have,
Yeah.
maybe don't have an iPhone. If they even have an iPhone, it doesn't really matter for that price point. What are you going to give me? Can I watch Amazon stuff on it? Can I play a game from my favorite, Linux or Windows based game on it? There's a lot of stuff there, so
Yeah.
that's added
Wh-
value that people are looking at. So,
I'm trying to imagine running Windows parallels
oh
on
yeah.
it.
Yeah. It probably had like crossbones and burp, 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 burp.
I
Exactly.
yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be as successful as they hope.
I think it's a
I
great idea. I think it's fascinating. But this is, I can't imagine the early adapters are going to be very well. Adopters are going to like this too much. I mean,
yeah.
it's a lot of money. It's a big commitment, and is it too early? You
I mean,
know.
I have a lot of friends,
Hmm.
quite a few friends. I know one of them that has like a decent high end VR setup.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, and he's a super tech nerd.
Yeah.
I mean, like overboard tech nerd.
Yeah.
They're trying to market this to Joe Schmo that wants to, browse the internet and look. I mean, you watch the keynote, it's browse
Yeah.
the internet, it's look at your family photos and family
Yeah.
videos, watch your favorite movie. And
That's
I'm
right.
like, for $3,400, you know what? I think I'll just watch it on my iPhone.
Yeah. Or you can go, hey kids, let's watch it together.
That is another thing. This is one of those technologies that absolutely, and it really does cut the rest of the world out from
It
you.
really does. Yeah.
Now they have done some things that where it attempts to, the replicating of your face,
Yeah.
and it's technically it's augmented reality for the most part,
Hmm.
and even that is a little weird. That might actually be a little misnomer.
Yeah.
Augmented reality, the idea of augmented reality is you see the real world, and then there are things computerized in it. In this, it's actually all computer generated. You're not seeing through the mask
Yeah.
at all.
Exactly.
Everything is it's a video of what's around you. But
Exactly.
and my big question is, I have a problem with my right eye. Could I even use it effectively?
Exactly.
Because the stereo vision is going to be jacked up in my
Well,
world.
and prescription. If you have, people who have prescriptions, have they
Now,
addressed that?
now they do say they address that. They have
Okay.
a 3 lens system with
Hmm.
supposedly tons of adjustment. But that's one of those. I don't know. How how precise can you get there
Yeah.
without having to
Exactly.
have glasses on underneath the mask? And it
Yeah.
doesn't look like the screen is designed to wear glasses at all.
Okay.
But but yeah, like for me, I have a problem with my right eye that's pretty much not correctable. And I don't know that I could even wear this and be able to utilize it
Oh
properly,
yeah.
because certain things would always be blurry.
Yeah. It really trims down the people who actually can take advantage of it.
Yeah, it
Or
really
and I
does.
think it really shaves it down to uh, kind of a minority of people.
Well,
Uh,
I think that's enough on Apple.
that's Apple, and when you talk about Apple, you have to talk about Microsoft, right? I mean,
Well,
they're
of
two peas
course,
in a pod. I mean, they
absolutely.
both of their founders both work in the same garage, so why not? Yeah, so this past week, again, we talked about it. The E3 is no longer with us anymore.
Yep.
Rest in peace. But now you have a lot of your big publishers and like Microsoft, and then you have these
Hmm.
different studios that this throughout the summer is going to tout off some of the stuff that's going to be coming up
Hmm.
this year in 2023. Of course, this is the big event, which is the Xbox Bethesda game show,
Yep.
which Microsoft has bought Bethesda. And of course, they're still doing promotion around the world, trying to keep their uh, purchase alive. I still don't understand
Yeah.
that. But a lot has gone on. There's a lot of games, but there's
Hmm.
three that I think we're going to concentrate on tonight
Okay.
because there's so many games out there. But also, we'll be talking about Ubisoft, which is they have a big game coming out. They also are in conjunction working with Microsoft and also with PlayStation as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't heard anything about PlayStation. Sony has made no announcements about having any kind of, I don't know, conference or showcase. So I'm sure that's
Surely
going
they'll do something.
to, yeah. But kind of on the hardware side of things, on the hardware side, the Xbox Series S. Now, if you're not familiar with the Xbox Series S, it's the kind of the little brother of the Xbox Series X. There's the X
Okay.
series and
So
the S
so
series.
the X was the one that you could grill on,
Yes,
and
it's a grill.
the S looks more like a subwoofer.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad we have that straightened out. Well, it was interesting to me. A lot of publishers wanted to get away from doing anything on the S because it's underpowered.
Oh, okay.
And that's part of the deal. It's kind of like it's underpowered. It's all it's basically there's no disk drive in it, and it's all digital games, which
Okay.
anymore it's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, to the most part, everything is basically digitally downloaded, even if you have a disc for most people.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Phil Spencer did a debut of the new hardware. They called him Carbon Black. Which is supposed to have a 1 terabyte SSD, which is a big jump from the 256 that
Oh, well.
that the previous one have. And if you think about that, let's talk about games. There's games out there that you have to download at least 60, 80
Oh, absolutely.
gigs, 125 gigs, and then you have to have enough room for the actual OS, whatever OS that it has. So it's interesting. I'm surprised that they're doing this. It's $349, which is, I think, the $299 was the previous model. So
Okay. A little bit of a
anyway,
bump, not
a little
a
bit of
huge
bump.
bump. Now,
Yeah. So
I have before we go on, I have a big question, and this has been a question of mine for a long time. You mentioned that it's underpowered. You mentioned that it was underpowered.
yeah.
Um, why do you use an Xbox other than the exclusive games
Mm-hmm.
rather than just a PC?
That's a good discussion. My biggest struggle, I thought about wanting to get another console. And I started playing around with the idea of I have a nice PC a really nice beefed up PC that I use for video editing, audio, but also for
Yeah.
gaming. You have PS5, which has a lot of exclusive games like God of War,
Right.
it's, Ratchet and Clank, a bunch of other ones that Uncharted. Okay, those kind of games. The thing is right now between Microsoft, and this is the thing that kind of gets me, is between if you have a gaming PC, all the games that are coming out for the Xbox is coming out on PC. So they're used to, when you have the Xbox 360, like Gears of War was a big thing. Gears of War 2, well, it didn't come out a year later on the PC. And so I don't know what Microsoft's strategy is. I know the biggest thing that they are really touting on is their Game Pass. and they have pretty
Oh, okay.
incredible Game Pass. Plus, two, the Xbox X and the S are both backward compatible. So from the original Xbox to the Xbox 360. So there's a lot of backward compatibility if you have the old games. And they also have stores where you can download the older games.
Okay.
But also the Game Pass, I think that's what a lot of people really enjoy. They have a Game Pass that combines a Game Pass for your PC as well as the Xbox console. And you can play your games. They call it gaming anywhere, where if I want to play a game on my Xbox, I can. And if I want to continue playing, I can play it on my PC. So for some people, that's not worth it. You know, if I have a great gaming rig, you know, go with a PS5 where I can have those exclusives. You know, I can play all the Xbox games, that quote Xbox games, you know, on my PC.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the newer titles that are coming out. So I don't know that answers your question or not.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really think of is you don't want to spend another $1,500 or $2,000 on your kids' gaming computer.
Oh, yeah.
So you spend $500 on an Xbox.
Yeah. I think that's the thing you have to look at, too. You know, I let's just put it this way. I've been grappling with, do I want to pay, you know, I'm looking at some money, and do I want to upgrade my video card? You know,
I was considering that actually this week.
So do you think about, okay, I have a 2080 Ti, and let's say, do I go ahead and look at, I'm going to use NVIDIA because I'm familiar with NVIDIA. Do I go ahead and look at the 4070 Ti? Now you go, you know, 4080 is redonkulous. It's like 1200. And then if you, and if
the price of a laptop,
and then if you want to go with a 4090, then you're looking at 1800. So that's what you're looking at video cards.
Almost what I paid for my entire computer.
Exactly. So if you want to, and the problem is that things, because of all the price, you know, everything has gone up on prices as well as NVIDIA. And I tell people right now, if you're in the market, try to wait it out. If you have a good rig right now, just kind of watch the prices. I think the 4070 Ti or the 4070, I mean, and it depends, you know, if you have a 2080 Ti like I do, that's a big bump. That's a big bump, you know, but my 2080 Ti can still do everything I want it to do. If you're wanting to do 4K, then that's when you have to look at, you know, 4080, 4090 on up. But if you're looking at just doing not just 1080p, but I think it's, what is it, 14 by 42, 1442, something like that. Yeah. I guess you would call it 2K. That's instead of 4K.
True 2K instead of 1080. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I'm ready to bump up yet. I looked at some prices. Now, mind you, I'm still running on a 1080.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
So, but I mean, it serves my purposes right now.
But the 1080, and the 1080 is still is a strong card. So, yeah. So, I mean, and right now, I mean, you have a lot of AMD people out there that talks about, well, you know, why don't you look at AMD cards? I just don't know enough about them. I know they run pretty hot from what a lot of people have told me. You can get some pretty good deals. But for some reason, when it comes to video cards, I've just always been NVIDIA. But I think that's more than what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. The bottom line for anybody, if you don't want to mess with settings, and mainly you want to stream movies and you want to play video games and you just don't want to mess with all the settings, console is the best to do it. To choose between an Xbox and a PS5 is that you have to ask yourself, what games do I like? What's exclusive games? You know, if the PC is out of the factor, then you can go ahead and start weighing that. But anyway, and I'm going to lose my voice because it's been that week for me. Let's talk about the first game that is that has come out to the showcase, and actually it was also, came out for Ubisoft Forward. It's the new Ubisoft Outlaw gameplay, Star Wars Outlaws.
It looks so good.
It looks really good. There is some gameplay out there and if you want to watch it out there on YouTube, I mean, it's about 15 minutes long of just gameplay itself. But if you have not seen it, here's a little trailer.
These are dangerous times. At least that's what I hear. The Empire? They're everywhere. But the world here belongs to the syndicates. If I want to survive, I have to play their game. Looks like I'm all in.
She's in here somewhere.
On second thought, I'm out.
There she is.
I've been held back my whole life. And now, I just need a chance to finally be free. Wherever that takes me.
I'm here to offer you a way out, okay?
Get off my ship, Jalen.
Give me a chance. You're gonna have to trust me. It'll be dangerous, risky. But if you pull this off, you'll never look over your shoulder again.
The underworld shows no mercy. But it's a big galaxy out there, and I'm gonna risk it all.
Star Wars Outlaws, coming 2024.
So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it really does.
It's all third person. It's coming out on Xbox X and S series, PlayStation 5, and the PC in 2024. It's open world. So
yeah,
what I find is fascinating, if you've seen the one scene where you saw Han Solo and Carbonite going by.
Yeah.
Apparently the timeline is between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Interesting.
It's funny that you see aliens like the Pikes, which
yeah,
are really prominent in the Book of Boba Fett. The Pikes you hear a lot about. Mm-hmm. So so I'm fascinated. Ubisoft is known for their open worlds like the Assassin's Creeds. I'm hoping, there was one game, 1333, which I was hoping would have been this open world game where you played a bounty hunter like Boba Fett, and you go after, different bounties, and you did to do it in Coruscant, which is, I thought was pretty cool. But this looks really interesting. I hope Ubisoft does a good job of it. Mm-hmm. It's, this is the first time someone outside of EA since Electronic Arts, until LucasArts was able to, was in the Disney fold. So anyway, looks pretty good. It has this Han Solo-ish kind of bounty, kind of outlaw kind of feel to it, scoundrel kind of thing. So
yes,
looks really good. Bethesda also in hands with Microsoft, which is also now a Microsoft studio.
Yes.
They also did Starfield Direct. Now, Starfield Direct was like a full 45-minute
Yeah.
documentary, how, of the teams,
Mhm.
and also gameplay, which was really fascinating. If you had a chance to watch, it's on YouTube. So prepare to have 45 minutes to watch this, but it was fascinating. It was interesting, the process. And so anyway, so you said you have some news about Starfield.
Yeah, so was checking up on Starfield. I actually watched the presentation, and a lot of people are saying it's Skyrim in space.
Hmm.
Now, when you hear that, I mean, even
Yeah.
the guys at Bethesda made that comment.
Yeah.
So it has some similarities,
Yeah.
but it looks like they have really gone out of their way to make this a much bigger, more open world
Yes, they have.
playground than Skyrim was.
Oh yeah.
So they say they have 1,000 planets you can explore, which is insane.
It's insane, isn't it? It is
And
insane.
and they also say that the that the gameplay, like the
Yeah.
story mode on Skyrim, supposedly around 25 hours. Fallout 4 was around 27 hours. They're saying that Starfield will be something in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 hours of story.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
I am not surprised. Yeah.
with over 200,000 lines of dialogue. And that is like
That's impressive.
almost 4 times Skyrim and
Hmm.
just a little less than double Fallout 4.
Oh
So
yeah.
the story play is going to be huge, but then it's open world. So you can do the story, you can go chase, side quests, or
Hmm.
you can just go out and explore the universe.
Oh
And
yeah.
there are different things you can get. There's bonuses and things you can do to if you just go out there and play all with all that. Now the couple things that they talked about, that the character creation, although
Yeah.
it's similar to Skyrim, it is supposed to be much more extensive.
Yes.
The character creation is a lot longer process, or as it can be. There's a whole lot more face texture options and hair texture options, and
Hmm.
super, super flexible. And one thing I heard them say was that theoretically, if you took the time in the character builder, you
Hmm.
could recreate any of the NPCs in the game, which is pretty unusual for anybody's character builder.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
I thought that was pretty impressive. Um, Now, the other thing is they have a new feature, some new features, and you just showed some of it there. You've got traits and these extra things that you can put
Yeah.
in. Uh, and the traits I thought were interesting. They said that you can put in the traits, and sometimes the traits will help you, and
Yeah.
sometimes the
Yeah.
traits will actually cause you more problems than you may
Yeah.
have wanted.
Because you have
Uh,
you can pick a backstory for your characters, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah.
yes, depending on what planet you land on
Yeah.
or what pirates you run into. Uh, one thing I saw on one clip was somebody had picked some particular backstory or something. I don't remember what it was he picked, but he ran into a group of pirates, and they basically just waved him on through
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he had picked this one specific thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is you can join different factions. So, or you can choose to join no faction,
Yeah.
and your faction choices are going to affect your gameplay.
Hmm.
And when you run into somebody, it's going to affect how they react to you. Along with the idea of things in the game, you can do things that maybe you wouldn't think of right offhand. One of the things you can do is you can basically become a pirate, and you
Yes.
can board
Exactly.
other people's ships, take
Yeah.
over their ships, uh, commandeer them. You can
and
hire
what's really
crew for your own ship. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying what's exciting about it. I've played Fallout games. I played Skyrim. In this, they really modified the combat, which it's has a more first person shooter combat. You can play third person or first person, but it has a more, as far as what I've seen on the video, as far as the combat play. I mean, think about it. You can board a ship and then you can go in and take out the enemy or whoever you want to take out. You can scrap it or you can put it part of your fleet. I mean, there's so much that you can do with that. So yeah, I saw the video and it was pretty impressive. The other thing I really love is the ship, customizing your ships.
Yes, the ship builder is pretty stinking cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, you can get really in depth. There was one guy who actually did a Optimus Prime looking one. That's not it, but there was one that looked like Optimus Prime. I mean, it was not a great picture of, but it was pretty cool in the process. But then I love the companions that you have, that come along with you. We do have a short trailer from this, so we'll give it a try and see if we'll be given some grace to do this or not. So let's give it a try.
Humanity has always hunted for knowledge in the unknown. The wonder is not that the field of stars is so vast, but that we have measured it. We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all. What's out there? You're part of Constellation now. Part of our family.
We do not fully understand all that is at work here.
No finer group in the stars to be unraveling this mystery.
I'll follow you from here on out, Captain.
Grab jump is ready. I love this part.
These artifacts could be everything we've been looking for. Another great secret the universe is asking us to unravel.
Human settlements throughout the galaxy could be at risk.
We are not stopping. Whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever. This is where we belong.
Pretty impressive.
It looks so good. And the scenery, they talk in the video you mentioned earlier, they talk about the atmosphere of the different planets.
Yeah.
And that they use some kind of, creation tools to propagate some things, but then they always build in custom built items. You talked about custom building the ships. You can also custom build your outposts, which I thought was interesting. So you go to a remote planet and you set up an outpost, and you can leave crew there to run it and mine ore from the planet to be able to, I guess, earn money to spend to improve your ship. It seems very, very, very open.
Yeah,
More
it
open
is.
than I would have imagined.
Yeah.
Now they do have a couple of bits of hardware.
Mhm.
There's apparently a custom watch you can get specifically for the game,
Yes, exactly. It's the
and it's
one
the
that you,
same
yeah,
watch that you have in the game.
yeah,
And they also have a custom Xbox controller and headset that you can purchase.
yeah, yeah. I
Now,
saw
I'm
that.
not sure what those really add to your gameplay, but they are, they have the branding of, is it Constellation? Is that the group
Yeah.
that you join? Whatever the
Yes.
group is that you're asked to join. It has those color schemes and those kind of things going on, but it looks like an interesting game. I'm kind of, this is not usually my kind of thing, but I'm
Mhm.
kind of interested.
Yeah, it can. It's one of those games that can definitely be a suck in your time, but
Yeah.
that's my concern. But it's one of those games too that if you can, for us working adults who have what we call responsibilities, that sucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can. I'm sure that you can. To me, is the technology is fascinating to me. They use some type of architectural system that
Mhm.
the lighting and
Yeah.
everything is orbiting each other. I mean, if you can see it like a moon, you can go to it.
Yes.
If
It's
it's something,
crazy.
if it's there, you can go to it. They said some of it may be just totally just vastness of nothing, but then you just in the game you don't know, and
Yeah.
your experience on a world may be totally different than your friend who's playing it on their machine or
Yeah.
on their console. So
Because of choices they made.
exactly.
And it's supposed to be coming out in September.
I know. So that's like right around the corner.
I
Pretty
know.
excited about that. I know we're kind of getting with the time, but you and me, we're IT crowd guys, right? We love IT crowd.
Absolutely.
Well, Fable, we've been waiting for Fable to come out, which is Microsoft Studio property. It's been and people have been waiting for the new version to come out for quite some time.
Mm.
And I found the trailer and I thought it was interesting. It's the next installment, and it's of course IT crowd Richard ELD or ELAT, I believe.
I can't pronounce his last name.
By Playground Games developed this new Fable. It's the same team behind the Forza spin-off series and Forza and Horizon. And but anyway, this is not gameplay, but I got a kick out of it. So let's go ahead and have that video. Let's kick that off.
Oh, we're finally doing this, are we? Because I was going to make a sandwich. Okay. Let's do it. What do I think about heroes? Well, we've all seen them, haven't we? Swanning about the place with their disproportionately high cheekbones and comically massive weapons.
Wanker.
Roughing up bandits, because they like to rough up bandits, don't they? Living it up with the common folk every single night. On a day-to-day basis, I'd say the true hero is me, someone who's breaking new ground with fruit, with veg, on the agricultural side of things.
Just look at them.
Not wafting around mythical creatures. And that's what they are. Wafters.
Yeah, well done.
You see, I'm not here to slay legendary beasts. I'm here to conquer the vegetable, not a euphemism. Let's face it, the age of heroes is over. This is the age of innovation. This, if you will, is the age of death. One moment. This is awkward.
Yeah. Oh,
I have no idea what that's about, but it's hilarious.
I have not seen that trailer. That was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. I hope he's in the game. That would be awesome.
And not just in the trailer.
Just not in the trailer.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would be brilliant.
We covered a lot tonight. I don't know if we missed anything. My voice is about to go out on me, so for many people, that's going to be rejoicing. But
would you like me to wrap us up?
If you would please wrap us up, please.
All right. You can find us at speakingnerdy.com. Find all of our social links there, links to the podcast. And the podcast you can find on any of your favorite podcasting apps, as well as on YouTube at Speaking Nerdy. So definitely check us out. And this week, you definitely want to check us out on video because we played some trailers that won't make a whole lot of sense if you're listening on audio.
You're listening. Sorry about that.
But
we didn't really take that in consideration.
But that's okay.
Use your imagination.
Check out our website. You can find all of our back episodes there as well. I don't think I have anything else. Do you have anything else, sir?
No, I don't. But good stuff. Good stuff is coming up. And yes, I'm looking for Starfield. Looking forward to it. So
absolutely.
We need to do a poll though. Mike, should you get a video card or a console? I'm leading video card. I don't know. Help me out. The comments below. Or do
This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. First world issues, first world issues.
Absolutely.
Man.
You
ready to play some games. Huh?
You gonna
make it? Yeah, I'm gonna live. For that Mercury. I forget that Mercury though.